Hi guys, welcome back to Jungle Flowers Canada. My name is Grania and thanks for joining me. So guys, today's video is going to be all about my Hoyas. So I want to explain my plant journey, and I think it's quite similar actually for a lot of people. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, certainly people who've been collecting maybe since about 2018 onwards. So my first obsession with plants was actually succulents. And I still watch Laura Eubanks and I still love succulents and cacti, but they were my first obsession. This very quickly led into my Hoya obsession, and that has never left me. Well, to be fair, neither has my succulents, but I don't buy as many of them. I do have a lot of succulents that I keep alive over the winter. I put outside in the summer, and I do have a succulent window in my kitchen. But Hoyas quickly became my second obsession, and I think I could honestly say they are still my favourite genus of plant. And I decided today to go around the house and get every single Hoya I have, with the exception I have 3 little ones over my mirror in my bedroom, and I have 1 in my bathroom. With the exception of those few, I brought down every single Hoya that I own. Now I do have duplicates of a lot of them. So what I thought I'd do is I'd group together anything that I had duplicates of, and I would take a look at it, and I'm going to decide whether I'm going to put them up together or whether I'm going to put them up for trade. I did just recently do a video where I got an import of Nicholsonii and Sigillatus, so I brought them up just to show you anyway, but they're still rooting and I will be doing swaps with them as well. So my dining room table is pretty close to full of plants. And I will tell you, I am the worst in the world for some of the names. Some of these are relatively new and I haven't digested the name per se. So the ones that I don't know the names of, I will put up on the screen. I was going to go around and I was going to write a list, and I thought, who has time for that? So what I will do is I will do my research when I'm actually uploading the video, and the ones I don't know the names of, I put on the screen. I do have another shipment coming in of some more Hoyas, probably 7 or 8 of them, and I'm going to say I may stop after that, but I won't, because I am absolutely obsessed with them. I just think they are gorgeous, and now a lot of them are very small, so I can fit them in. I have now 5 IKEA greenhouses so I can fit them in my IKEA greenhouses and they look absolutely beautiful. So let's begin. I'm going to take you around the table and show you what I have. Okay guys, let's do an overview of the table. So there are Hoyas, and then there are some here on the ground. Okay, so let us start. So here I have a Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen who has been on the struggle bus since 2018. I bought this in Walmart in 2018. It's actually so dusty. I'm going to take an opportunity to wash all of these down after the video. And she got mealybugs and I struggled. And you can see there was a lot of reversion on it. Like, look at that. That's just pure dust. Sorry, my daughter is here and everybody's chatting. So anyway, but you can see, look, the variegation is starting to come back. And finally, she is happy. This sits in my ensuite window. And here I have my 3 Hindu rope. You can see they're all very large. That's my big one that hangs in my living room window. So I am thinking, as much as I hate to do this one here is a wee bit lopsided. So you can see I have 2 strands there and 2 long ones here. I hate to cut my plants. Absolutely hate to cut my plants. But I think I might cut this up just to make it a little bit more symmetrical, and then maybe I can trade some of the cuttings. We'll see how that goes. Now here we have, I believe this is a cinnamon folia. Is that how you pronounce it? This was a 1-leaf cutting that I got last year, and now it's put out the 2nd leaf, and I actually really like it. It's got a lovely big leaf. I love the way the veining goes down this way. So she is doing very lovely. And this is a Publicalyx Pink Splash. And I just took a cutting of her just to fill her out. So it was a 1-strand cutting. And you can see there I took a piece off of it, rooted it, and put it back in. And I actually have another leaf rooting as well. So I wanted to bulk this out and give it a nice full plant. You can see here there's a lovely growth tendril on it, so hopefully we'll be seeing some leaves on that soon. So this here is my Hoya Australis Lisa, I think, and the reason I say I think is because I have one that I bought as a Hoya acuta variegata, and I can't remember which one was which. They look almost identical except one has a bigger leaf than the other, but I do believe that this was the Lisa, and she has given me lovely growth. I haven't had anything in a while. It was a tiny little cutting, but hopefully she will get bigger. Here we have my Numeraloides, which I just love this plant, and she gave me like tons of flowers last year. I don't see peduncles on her, do I? This year, I don't see any peduncles this year, but I did get tons of flowers from her last year. Now these are my mystery plants, guys. I imported these only recently, and as I say, the brain hasn't absorbed the names of them yet. And I will show you them one by one so I can put the name on the screen. So this is one. This is another one, a little bit gangly, but you can see that there's 2 new leaves coming there. And this one has new leaves. I'll actually look at the beautiful red on the new leaves there. Cutie. And this one hasn't really done anything. It looks like it might have been a little stressed from the shipping. And then, of course, this is a sigillatus, so I know what this is. So this was the first sigillatus I brought in, and then I brought in a bunch of them again just recently. This here is the, now let me get this right, Angleriana, Vietnam. I think this is the dotiest little plant. Now this actually got thrips, can you believe? And I did lose some of it, but it's actually a very prolific grower. It's just growing back beautifully, and it's in a tiny pot. I actually will start, oh, I'm spilling soil, don't do that, Grania. But she's lovely. I can't wait for her to get big. I haven't been able to get my hands on a linearis, which I really would like to get, but I kind of feel like she's a good substitute. She's so pretty. Here we have a Fusco marginata. So this was my own one that I got in a trade, and then I ordered another one. So you can see this is much lighter. The leaves are much lighter on this. Again, I think it's possibly from the stress of being shipped. So I think I am going to pot the 2 of these up together. So Hoya Fusca marginata. With 2 of them. Here we have my Hoya elliptica. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Hoya elliptica, but this is a different species of elliptica. Oops, look at the size of the leaf on that. She's just started to put out new growth, and there is some damage on there, but I haven't been able to find any bugs. These are the new leaves. I'm hoping that this is kind of normal. If anybody knows, they might be able to tell me, but look at how big the leaf is. Isn't that beautiful? And then these obviously are a different species. They have a, not a different species, a different, I don't know, what's a different family of elliptica, and I have 3 of them, so I need to decide if I'm going to trade any of these. Again, I have a big problem letting plants go. This is my, if I could just let I always say to my husband, do you know how much that plant is worth? And he'll say to me, I don't know why you're telling me that, you're never going to sell it. So anyway, here we have my beautiful Kalistafila. She has, oh, let me just unravel her there. So this is my beautiful Kalistafila. I love this plant. It is stunning. And here is another Kalistafila. Oh, I forgot. I have 3 plants in one pot out in my greenhouse as well. So this is actually there's 2 plants in here, but this one has again been on that old struggle bus. So I'm hoping I might actually put her down in my prop box to try and give her a little bit of a lift. So that is Hoya Kalistafila, and as I say, I have 3 more plants in my greenhouse which I forgot to bring in. Here we have a Hoya Australis. So this is the biggest one. Now, I have seen Hoya Australis with much darker leaves. So again, there must be different types within the family. because mine are, you can see, have a very light coloured leaf. So there are 2 more plants there. So again, maybe Grania needs to decide. Here I have my beautiful Cortesi, guys. Look at how impressive she is. I'm so proud of this girl, but I'm getting to a point where I'm going to have to start cutting her up. Now I have a beautiful plant friend called Amy, and her channel is called Wolfgang's Mama. If you're not following her, guys, you should go take a look. I love her plants. She is a true Hoya plant fanatic, plant nut. What would we call ourselves? And she has Hoyas to die for. I wish I had some of hers. I don't know where she gets them because I've been looking for them here. She lives out in the west coast, I believe. I'm not sure exactly where she lives, but she seems to be able to get her hands on much nicer varieties of Hoya. And anyway, she has this Hoya Cortesi in a round terracotta pot that her friend made her. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. I have to go find myself something like that. Sorry, Amy, I'm going to copy you. I'm so obsessed with it. So anyway, let's get back to business. I have 2 more Hoya Cortesi here. And there's another one here. Oh, and then I have this pot here. So these were all propagations off my mother plant. So I think maybe it's time I let some of these go. Oops, I just spilled soil on my chair. My husband will be like, what are you doing? So here we have Hoya Hoyskeliana. So that's my bigger one. And then I also have a smaller one. So I actually gave a lot of these away. I did have more of them. So I think I'll just keep both of them. And here we have Hoya Finlaysoni. Now Finlaysoni, again, have many different varieties. So I believe I have 3 different varieties here. So we have this variety, then we have this variety, which I believe is different, and then I have this baby. You're not going to believe how long I have that. 3 years, and it has not put out 1 new leaf since I got it. The roots are very slow. I've had it in my prop box. I don't know what's going on with it. It's definitely taking its time, but it's not dead. So we will hang on to it. And just in case you're wondering, I'm talking about this plant here. So they are my Hoya Finlaysoni. Here I have Hoya Sunrise, and you can see I have a couple of them. So I'm probably could look at maybe trading some of these. And then here I have it's the Croniana Silver, or Lacunosa Silver. You know what, I can't always quite make out the difference between them, but if I can. So when I got it, the leaf was more like, if you can see the little leaf at the bottom there, they were kind of thicker, you know, and here they were like very thick, but the new growth doesn't seem to be as thick. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but that I have that 3 years as well. And it only put out this new growth this year. Very, very slow to take off. Here I have my Hoya obtusifolia. I don't know, am I saying that right? If I'm not saying it right, I'll put it up on the screen. So I did take a cutting of it, and this is the new cutting. You can see well, you probably can't really tell, but the new cutting is struggling just a little bit. It's not as thick as the original, but it will come back. I literally only planted it in here maybe about 2 weeks ago. So I think it will come back in time. It just needs a little bit of time to recover. And here are my Hoya Sarowak, which I just adore. So when I got this Hoya Sarowak, it came with just 1 leaf. Then I put this leaf out, then I put these 2 leaves out. So you can see, no, sorry. It came with this leaf, it put out these 2 leaves. Then it put out this leaf, and now you can see it's putting out another leaf. And then here's my other Sarowak, which came with these 2 leaves. Then it put out these 2. Now there were actually leaves here as well, but my husband was hanging something for me, and unfortunately something fell on it. Oh, and there was a leaf there, so we knocked off those leaves, unfortunately. But there is a new leaf coming there, and again, focus, and there's 2, but there are 2 new leaves coming there. Here I have my Hoya Kentiana variegata. I've had this plant again since 2018. It was a beautiful full plant and half of it reverted. But now I have a green Kentiana and a variegated Kentiana because I split them up. But you can see her lovely sun's dressing. Isn't she gorgeous? And here I have my Hoya Shepherdii. So I have two of them. I want to show you this one. It's been out in my greenhouse. Oh, she's cut. It's been out in my greenhouse, so it's actually faded. Look at the colour of the leaf. So this was a really dark leaf. You can see the tendrils are wrapping around the macrame. And because my greenhouse is so bright, she has been sort of fading to a lighter green. So I might move her to a darker corner in the greenhouse to get back that beautiful dark green. Now, how do I get her back down with one hand? Boop, in you go. And then this is just a cutting of a Shepherdii, but you can see it's putting out a lovely new tendril. Here we have my Acuta variegata, and you can see all the leaves are coming out white. Now, with Hoyas, it's not as big a deal as it is with the likes of philodendron. So they should be fine, but I am hoping that I will get some new leaves with some green on it. And you can see, so this is all, actually a lot of this is new growth from when I imported her. When did I import her? When did I import her? Last year, I think I imported these. Here we have my Hoya Mathilde. So I put her on this little wire trellis and she's growing beautifully. I think this is such a gorgeous little plant. Love my Hoya Mathilde. Now this is the Hoya Acuta variegata, which looks almost identical to the Hoya Australis lisa, except the leaves are bigger. The jury's out. I'm not 100% sure. Are they actually the same plant and one is more mature? But I bought this as the Hoya Acuta variegata. The leaf is just stunning. Look at that. Gorgeous. Love this one. Here is my crinkle 8. Now, I don't know. Has anyone else got a crinkle 8? Amy from Wolfgang's mama said hers isn't growing. Well, this baby is 3 years old. She's growing. 3 years old. And it did actually put out a new leaf, I think maybe about 1.5 years ago, but it has done nothing since. So, you know, I just leave it to its own devices. It'll sort itself out eventually. It's not dead, so that's all I really care about. Here is my Hoya Carnosa Freckles. And I've said it before that I was quite underwhelmed by this, but now with the new growth, I'm really loving it. And when it puts out new leaves, it's really, really pretty. And here is another one. And I have one in my bedroom. That's one of the ones I didn't bring down. It's on the mirror over my bedroom. Here we have a Hoya Bella. I actually have some more cuttings to add to this. These were cuttings that a plant friend gave me. And I may probably need to start potting some of these babies up. I think the pots are very small. But I put them in here when they were cuttings. So I am getting a little bit of yellowing down here at the base. Oh, see that just come off. Not sure what's causing it. Maybe I should check and see. This is a prolific flower, so I'm hoping I will get flowers from this one day. Here is the Hoya Bella. I'm not sure which one it is. Variegata maybe. And I noticed that the stem was coming out, so I need to take a look at this and get it back in properly. And I bought that and it just had those little leaves at the bottom. This is all new growth. Hopefully I'll get some more. And then this is probably like, I adore this plant. This is my Hoya Hindu rope variegata. I don't know which one it is, but I got this 3 years ago and this was like winning the lotto, because 3 years ago you couldn't get your hands on green Hindu rope hardly, never mind variegated. And you can see how slow. It's a very, very slow grower. I mean, it has grown, but it's certainly a slow grower. Here we have my Hoya Kerry variegata, and I actually just took a cutting of this, and Yes, this was the cutting and this was the original. Can you see there? That was the original. And this is the cutting because it was so long. It was just one big long strand. So I'm hoping that that will fill that out. Oh, there's my, look what just popped out. I gotta sort that out. I just bought this recently at Vandermeer Nurseries and I have no idea what it's called. And I will put the name up on the screen. It's really cute. And hopefully it will do wonderfully for me. This is my Hoya caudata. Now this was actually big. It trailed all the way around this trellis. Oh, I see there's a new leaf coming. But one day the leaves just all fell off. Like literally over a matter of 2 or 3 days the leaves just started to fall. These ones are fine, they're nice and secure. Okay, so there is a new leaf coming. No idea what happened to it. So anyway, it seems to be sorting itself out, thank goodness. This is the Hoya, is it Maniparensis? I think that's what it's called. I just got this recently from Vandermeer's and I'm very happy to get that. So I'm sorry I didn't buy more, but I spent a lot of money that day, and Hoyas are getting very expensive, although their prices are amazing. But I had to stop myself from buying other varieties. I also bought a Lacunosa silver, and then my daughter bought me one for Mother's Day, and I'm going to show that to you, but it actually started to fail, so I now have it in a prop box, but I will show that to you in a few minutes. And this is the Hoya rotundiflora. I love this one. It's and she seems to be pretty happy. You can see there she's putting out nice tendrils. This is the Hoya lacunosa, just the green. And I bought this off of a lady from Marketplace. And it's just loving life. It's doing great. This is the Hoya breviolata, which, well, that's what I bought it as. I think it is the Hoya breviolata. I love this. And it is doing very well, very happy with itself. This was a cutting from this Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess. But you can see that it was reverted. So I cut it off and planted it. But now the new leaves are starting to variegate again. That's cute. I didn't think that would happen. So this is another Hoya Carnosa Crimson Princess. I'll turn her around here. She's beautiful. And then of course there is my big mama. She is absolutely gorgeous and full. And did I miss anything? Oh yes, I have a Hoya retusa here. Now I did have a really big Hoya retusa and she succumbed to thrips. So I was delighted to get this new one. Again, you can see there I got it from Vandermeer Nurseries. If you're from the area, you'll recognize their label. So here is my big Hindu rope, which is stunning. And like some of the strands of that are probably 4 feet long. I love it. Now, on the ground, here is, so I showed you the Variegated Kentiana. So this is the part that reverted and turned to green. So you can see it's turning out to be a stunning plant. And it has all these new tendrils on it. It's just a shame that it was variegated and now it's green, but I still love it. It's really, really beautiful. You can see, oh, very heavy. Let me put it back down there. Very heavy. And here is my Hoya publicalis Splash. So this isn't the pink. This is, I don't know. There's so many varieties. There's Hawaiian. This is just Hoya publicalis Splash. Gorgeous plant. Look at all the growth on her. And she's putting out all these tendrils. And she is pretty amazing. I absolutely love her. So now let's take a look in my prop box. So in here I have some Rehabbing Hoyas. So here is my Hoya Sarowak. This became very limp and floppy, so I put her in here and she is definitely firming up. You can see she could probably do with another week or 2 in there. So I won't take her out until she's fully recovered. And then in here is the Hoya Lacunosa Silver. So there's 2 plants here, one I bought and one my daughter bought me for Mother's Day, and I planted them up in one pot because I love big Hoyas, and she just started to decline immediately and it lost a lot of leaves and the leaves became very limp. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to stick her in here. So they're all quite thin, which is unfortunate. Are any of them, did any of them plump up yet? No, they haven't plumped up yet. So it really was struggling. So I decided I'll put them in sphagnum and I'll put them into a prop box. And I really don't want to lose this. I just adore this plant. And like the 2 plants were $70. So I really, really don't want to lose this. But I've put them in here. So I split up. There was a couple of, you can see there was a couple of plants in each pot. So I split them up and put them in here. And hopefully they will recover. So here are the Nicholsonii and the, what are they, Sigillatus, which you saw me do a video on. You can see some of the leaves have perished, but that's, you know, that's the hazards of importing. But so far they are looking happy, and when they're all nice and healthy, I'll make one nice big plant and then I'll do trades with the rest. Guys, I forgot to record an ending and I'm too lazy to get the camera out. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you watched until the end, please don't forget to put the green heart emoji in the comments. And I will let you know that there was one plant I forgot to put in, and that was my Macrophylla albomarginata. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, I will put a picture of that up there. And please check in the description for my Instagram account. Have a wonderful day and thank you so much for joining me.